Hi. This video is about surviving abuse, surviving mental and physical abuse. What qualifies me? Experience. Um, Experience is number one qualification. Many people can read many books and go to school for many things, but when it comes to life situations, other than medical, if it's just something like abuse, I think that if you don't experience it, you can read all the books you want and get all the certificates you want. And to me, they can't tell me anything because they haven't experienced it. And I've already done that, and I didn't find it to be useful because they hadn't experienced it. I didn't. Well, anyhow, I'm not here to bash anybody with certificates. I'm talking about abuse and surviving abuse and what happens after you've been abused and you're not with the person who abused you anymore. What happens is it's of course it causes more trauma in your brain, and it causes a difference in your personality, more than one difference, I'm sure, including the fact that when you try to move on and have a new relationship after, of course, time passes, and I'm a real big believer of that time should pass before you get into a relationship or even a friendship, lover thing going on with someone after you've been abused severely. I'm talking about real abuse, not just disagreements that someone had with, or something like that. Real abuse. You've been kicked, punched, um, picked up, slammed to the floor, and called many bad names and cheated on at the same time. That's severe abuse. Um, Anyhow, and it, especially if it lasts for years. Of course, the longer it lasts, I believe the worse it affects your personality when it's time to um, try to even just to be friends with someone else. Um, because what happens is you meet somebody that is nice and that won't abuse you. They might have a hard time with you because of your personality defects um, from the abuse trauma. So what happens is sometimes they might not have the patience for you to deal with you, even if they like you a lot. Because sometimes, if a person haven't experienced these things, then they feel like you should just get over it. They might say things like, "Oh, that was then and this is now, and you should be over that," because of course they don't know what it feels like. And they might say, "Oh, that's bad. Don't talk about it." Of course, you shouldn't sit there and just dwell on it and talk about it. But maybe if they might ask you why are you a certain way, and you might say, "Oh, maybe it's because I was abused or whatever," and they don't want to hear that because they don't even want you to even think of it. Even you don't want to think of it, but it's real. This is real life. It's not a movie. It's not a play. It's not a fantasy. It's real life. Unfortunately, some bad things happen in real life that nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to face these things or even believe that it could cause a long-term effect that will ruin a good relationship when you find it. And actually, I would say that it's not really the fault of the person that's been abused when the new relationship might get ruined. I would say that in my mind, unless you're the type that just sits there and talks about it day and night and all the time, with the new person, nobody wants to hear about it all the time. I mean, if you want to explain to them that you have been abused, and so it might take you a little bit longer to trust or to be relaxed, or maybe you trust them and you like them, of course, so you wouldn't be talking to them after being abused, but you have a problem relaxing. Like for me, I met someone who's great. Of course, he's not perfect. No one's perfect, but nothing's perfect but God. But the thing is that because of my abuse, even though I've healed tremendously over the years, because it's been years, it's been actually 7 years since I've dealt with my abuser. Um, but it's still, it was so long that it was happening, and even though I've been healing, I have some defects, of course. I have a hard time relaxing. Very, very hard time. So I hear, can't you relax? Why can't you relax? I can't relax because you're not relaxed. So those are the words I hear. Or sometimes the person will say to me, relax. Just relax. Everything's, they'll whisper, relax. And that does calm me down a lot. That calms me down actually 100%. But if they feel aggravated because I can't relax, then of course, then I become more unrelaxed. And that's one of the defects that came from being abused, even though I feel healed now. I feel healed like by, I'd say, 80, 90%. Um, so, just a little short tale to say that, if you've been abused and it was hard and it was horrible, just pray, heal, and you know, remember that it takes time to heal, and you know, um, just remember that if you meet someone who makes you feel relaxed, to try to just enjoy the feeling of being relaxed with that person and not try really hard not to become so anxious about what already happened and can it happen again, or you know try not to let the past affect the present. It's hard, but we have to try. We have to try. Otherwise, we can't have a good future with someone else if we don't try. And we can't be bitter. We can't say, well, everybody's that way. Every man is the same. Can't think that way either. Because if you think that way, you'll miss out on a great love that you could have had, that you deserve after, healing from being abused. Definitely, when you've been abused, you definitely want to feel someone loving you. Um, you don't want to miss that. You don't want to be so upset about the abuse that you'd say, well, I'm just never ever going to be with that person again. I've said it, but to do it, that I'll never be with anyone as long as I live, it's really not realistic. And even if you make it a reality, it's just not it. That's not even a healthy thought. I mean, it's not. It's really not a healthy thought. To be healthy mentally means to heal, accept what's happened, heal, and move into the future with someone who is great, and recognize when you meet someone that is great and not compare them to the person that hurt you. Just because if you might have a disagreement with the new person, you can't just suddenly just project your feelings from the past into the present, from one disagreement or two. Who cares how many? If they're not hitting you and they're not calling you names and they're not abusing you, because those things are abuse. If you're not receiving those things and you're just having disagreements once in a while or whatever, that's not abuse. So you can't project your feelings from before on to now, or you'll miss out. You'll miss out on a beautiful experience that you could have, that you deserve. Especially after being abused, you definitely deserve a beautiful, beautiful feeling with someone else who's willing to give you those feelings and receive your love and appreciate your love, and you appreciate their love, and you don't want to miss that. And that's what this video is about today. Not missing out on present, future love because you've been abused by someone. That's what this video is about. It's about not missing out on love, real love that we deserve because of something that happened to us before. That's what it's all about. It's about love, sharing, caring, dealing with